Okay, good morning, guys. As I've said before, I was going to continue reading to you for the rest of the summer. I hope you guys enjoyed the end of of Lemons, I should say. Sorry. I know it's one of my favorites that I like to read. I do wish that we had more Bigfoot interaction in that book, but still, I do enjoy that book. So, this next book I'm going to read to you this summer is called Amal Unbound. And this was given to me by Emily Hahn. I'm excited to read this book to you guys. On the back it says, if everyone decided nothing could change, nothing ever would. So this is my first time reading this book, so I'm excited to read this book to you guys. Chapter 1. I watched from the window as the boys tumbled out of the brick schoolhouse across the field from us. Our class was running over again. Girls shifted in their seats and sneaked glances at the clock above the chalkboard. My friend Hafsa sighed. And finally, I have some bad news, Miss Sadia told us. She picked up a stack of papers from her desk. I finished grading your math tests, and only 5 of you passed. The class let out a collective groan. Now, she hushed us. This just means we have more work to do. We'll go over it tomorrow, and we'll take another test next week. Those questions were so hard, my youngest sister, Seema, whispered to me. We lined up by the chalkboard at the front of the class to get our tests. I should have stayed with the younger class until the fall. Oh, come on. You know you probably passed, I whispered back. When have you ever failed an exam? Seema tugged at her sleeves as she walked up to Miss Sadia. It was only in the arms that you could see my old uniform was too big on her. Miss Sadia handed Seema the paper. As expected, Seema's worried expression shifted to a smile. Her steps were lighter before she slipped out of the classroom. I'm sorry I can't help today, I told Miss Sadia once the room was empty. This was my favorite part of the day. When everyone left and it was just the two of us, the building felt like it had exhaled, expanding a little bit without all 34 of us crammed to a desk, as we filled up nearly every quarter inch of the space. My mother's in bed again. Is the baby almost here? Yes, so my father said I have to come home and watch my sisters. I'll miss your help, Amal, but he's right. Family comes first. I knew helping family was what a good eldest daughter did, but this time after school with Miss Sadia wasn't just fun. It was important. I wanted to be a teacher when I grew up. And who better to learn from than the best teacher I ever had? I loved washing the chalkboards, sweeping the floor, and hearing stories of her college days. I loved watching her go over her lessons and rework them based on what worked and what didn't the day before. I learned so much from watching her. How could my father not understand? I could still use your help with the poetry until next week, she told me. Some of the students are grumbling about it. Think you could convince Hafsa to give it a chance? You know how she rallies the others to her side, and she'll listen to you. I don't think she minds reading poems. Writing them makes her nervous. You'd think everyone would be happy to write poetry. It's shorter than an essay. It's different. The great poets like Gabib, Rumi, Iqbal, they had things to say. And don't you have things to say? What would I write about? I laughed. My little sisters? My father's sugarcane fields and orange groves? I love reading poems, but there's nothing for me really to write about. Our life's so boring. That's not true. Write about what you see. Write about your dreams. Pakistan was founded by the dreams of poets. Aren't we of the same earth? Miss Sadia's dramatic way of talking was one of the reasons I loved her, but I wasn't convinced. It's not that I wasn't proud of my family and our life. I was lucky to belong to one of the more prosperous families in our Punjab village, but it didn't change the fact that I lived in a village so tiny. Didn't even register as a dot on a map, but I promised I'd talk to Hafsa. This is what I now remember most about my last afternoon at school. The smell of the dusty chalkboard, the sound of the students lingering outside the door, and mostly, how easily I took my ordinary life for granted.